All right, let's bring in on this broadcast as we look at what's really played out in Parliament and hopeful that from tomorrow we will see some business taking place. Let's bring in on this broadcast Congress Member of Parliament from Virudhunagar in Tamil Nadu, Mr. Manickam Tagore, who's joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Tagore, Vanakkam, thank you very much for joining us here on India Today. So the question right now, with all that we've been seeing playing out in Parliament, is the opposition also to blame for the non-stop ruckus, the chaos and the lack of business in Parliament in the winter session?
Good evening. We had been, India Alliance from the day one has been demanding that we need some issues to be discussed that are very important for us. One was the Adani scandal, then the Manipur and the Sambalviolence. And we were insisting for a debate on the first day itself. And the government was not ready. And you all know that before, on Saturday only, in that first week when Parliament was functioning, Saturday only the Adani scandal came out. Therefore, we wanted a discussion on that day itself. Second day was the Constitution Day. Therefore, after the second day meeting, the floor leaders of the Congress party met the Honorable Speaker and the government and expressed that we should have a 75 years Constitution celebration debate. Which was a convention earlier also. 2 times the Parliament has celebrated it with 2 days debate in both the houses. Well, we were insisting for these demands, and before the government was not ready to accept those demands in the previous week. And this week also, in the first day, they were in the first day, they were not ready to do it. But today evening, when the House was adjourned, when Honorable call for the India Alliance leaders meeting, it was accepted. There was a breakthrough was done, and the debate for constitutional celebrations, Constitution's 75 years of Indian Constitution's debate will happen on 11th and 12th, 13th, 14th in Lok Sabha.
But what about, sir, there's also a question right now about whether there's been a divide in the opposition over these issues. For example, your party is constantly raising the Adani controversy. Now, reportedly, the TMC, SP aren't really on board with that. They believe that there are different issues that should be brought up. Is it that lack of strategy in the India bloc that's reflected now in all that's happening?
We have to understand that India bloc meets on every Monday and whenever it is needed also. India blocs include the Samajwadi, Aam Aadmi Party, DMK and all other 13 parties. Usually TMC is not taking part in these kind of parliamentary meetings, and therefore we don't know about what TMC thinks about it, because they had conveyed to the Congress President, Honorable Kharge Saab, that the first day when it was previous Monday, they were being called. They told that they are having a national working committee in Calcutta. We as Congress party wants to reach out to all the opposition parties, and we wanted to have a coordinated effort, and we had been trying for that in the previous session, Parliament also, 17th and 18th Lok Sabha also, we are continuing with our effort to coordination. We all sat together in the Parliament opposition leaders chamber and decided that we will take up these issues, and our demand for the debate for 75th year Constitution celebrations was a very important issue, because it will cover many other issues also can be covered in that debate itself. Therefore, we have been insisting for that debate to be accepted. We were asking for that debate to take place in this week, but the government, we know that the government is happy with
the government, sir, has been saying that the government has been saying that it's the opposition that's not been willing to cooperate, and that's why we've seen this kind of chaos and, non-stop winter session so far being a complete washout with no business. The government is putting the blame on the opposition, on your party as well.
That's completely wrong. We all know that the government was not having a plan to have a discussion on the Constitution in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. They were not having any kind of idea itself to celebrate that kind of discussions. Where it came it came from the opposition parties, particularly the India Alliance. We proposed to the government that should be a debate on the Constitution, 75 years of Constitution, because we are already We had celebrated Quit India movement for 70 years and 75 years. Then we had celebrated the Indian independence also in the Parliament for special session. So there are precedents. Therefore, we should continue with that precedence to have a debate on the issue of on this constitution 75 years. The government want their business to only be carried out. They don't accept any kind of people's issue. They don't want the people's issue to be debated. Therefore, they are happy to not to run the parliament because it is a Gujarat model approach they are doing it. In Gujarat also, Mr. Modi and Amit Shah never allows the assembly to function. They just want their speeches to be heard and all other opposition speeches will not be heard. That is the Gujarat model for them. We don't want that model to continue. Therefore, we have been very clear that we should have a debate in the parliament on the constitution, and now the government has accepted for that
You're
debate.
saying on the Constitution Day debate, you will raise a number of issues. For the Congress, Mr. Tagore, is the only issue that you want to raise Adani, or is it going to be other issues? Is your number one concern and priority only the Adani controversy? Is that the only thing you want to raise?
We have to understand that the Adani scam was not our issue. We were not created that issue. That issue came. Adani scam came into the session because of that US court charge sheet and others. Therefore, only the government was not ready to yield. It was completely out of gear. The government was completely out of gear because Adani, the word, they don't want to be in the don't want the Adani word to be registered in the parliamentary history itself. Therefore, they will always be upset. They will be not knowing what to do itself. That's the government problem. Therefore, Adani is a problem for them, and Adani for us. Adani, the way they hand over the wealth to Adani is our problem for them. For us. Therefore, we continue to raise our issues, and for us, the constitution debate is a very important thing because it will cover many other issues also, including the Adani scam.
Is that only for the Congress, Mr. Tagore? Is the Adani issue only an issue for the Congress, or are you saying we in reference to the India bloc, or are you referring to the Congress?
I am repeating to you that all the India Alliance partners in the first day of Parliament sat together and decided that we should rise up the Adani scandal. All the India Alliance accepted it. Therefore, only we gone ahead with it. TMC was not part of that meeting because they told that they are busy with the working committee meeting. Therefore, we are very clear that all the India Alliance parties, which are there are many single member parties, 2-member parties, 3-member parties, and others, small parties. We take their views also seriously, and therefore we drafted our strategy to the parliament session. First week of session was been a successful thing. We were able to expose the government's unpreparedness on the Adani scandal, and they were exposed without any kind of steps by them. They were fielding senior advocates outside the parliament to speak for Mr. Adani. They were not having any kind of view itself how to approach the Adani scandal. For opposition has had a successful week in the first week. And this week, we don't want the government to block the parliament, because parliament is a place where we want the government to be questioned. And we don't want to be just cheerleaders of the government.
Are you sure? And my final question to you, Mr. Tagore, is with the meeting that's happened with the Lok Sabha Speaker, with representatives of every political party, including yours, including the Congress, do you think from tomorrow will the parliament function? And this is, I think, a question that every Indian right now is asking, whether finally we'll see our parliamentarians sit together and ensure some business happens, some productivity is reported in the winter session.
We are having a Congress floor managers meeting at 6 o'clock with the opposition leaders Kharge Sahab and Rahul ji. In that meeting, the proposal will be discussed, and then tomorrow morning there will be India Alliance leaders meeting will be there also. Therefore, this will be discussed in that thing also. Because we are a party, we all believe that we collectively take decisions. The proposal, what we gave to the government was a discussion for 75 years of Constitution celebrations. That has been accepted at last. But the dates, what we wanted is from today or tomorrow, but they had pushed it to the next week. that has to be decided, and we hope that we want the parliament to function. We are not the people who want the parliament to be blocked. That is the Gujarat model, which wants to stop the parliament from functioning. Therefore, let us be very clear that we, India Alliance, want the parliament to function. We want our leader, Rahul Gandhi ji, to take up the people's issue. We want our leaders to speak on the Adani scandal, on the Manipur violence, on the Sambalviolence, on the failed growth story of Mr. Modi of 5.8 quarter growth story. All other things we wanted to raise it, but for that, Parliament has to function, and the arrogance of the government must end.
You've raised a number of issues that the Congress looks to put forward. Let's see if in the coming days we will finally see some productive discussions happening in the winter session, of what's left at least of the session. Thanks very much, Mr. Manickam Tagore. I know you have that Congress huddle to get into right now, so we'll let you go. Thank you very much for joining us here on India Today.